Thank you very much, Louise. Well, here we go. We are down to 3 now. We have lost Tom Onslow-Cole from the quartet that could win the championship, but it's still open for Jason Plato, Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden.
Yeah, although you've got to feel that Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden are really just hanging on by their fingertips, aren't they? And as we saw in the first race, if Jason gets a good start, it could be championship on.
Well, let's see what happens. There we are on board with Jason Plato then. The focus, the concentration that served him well in that first race to dominate it, really open up a useful lead from the start. If he does that again, he will be champion, no doubt about it. And as he said to us, if he finishes 3rd, that will be enough, no matter what Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden. If he does drop behind those 2 Hondas, as long as he stays 3rd, then he would still be champion. But if he does drop back, he'll then be in the pack with everybody else. And they're all pushing for their own points, their own positions. Just to let you know, by the way, that as a result of that first race, we did get a couple of things already settled. Honda Racing Team are provisionally the team's champions for this year, so well done to them. Although the independence teams, which is actually slightly different, has gone to Team Aon, the runners of the Ford Focus. So good for them to have got that title. And of course, both Tom Onslow-Cole and Tom Chilton could win the Independent Drivers' Trophy. So lots of different battles going on. I tell you what, we've hardly seen brands this full for a long time, Tim. It is a fantastic atmosphere.
Well, they've been rewarded with some great weather and so obviously some great racing as well. And it just shows the popularity of the BTCC that 35,000 people will come out and watch the final. And with a full grid of cars and the championship on the line, they're being well rewarded. But it is great to see such a turnout.
Yeah, and everywhere you go, look at that. There's the support for Matt Neal and for Gordon Shedden. It's amazing to have 2 within the same team that are capable of still winning this title. But Jason Plato's the man they've got to beat. Yeah, the people here today really lapping up the sunshine, lapping up the atmosphere. There's some beautiful old touring cars just behind where our commentary position, so fans got a chance to enjoy it, and everybody getting a kick out of it one way or another. Now Jason takes it away from pole position. Let's see if we can get a quick final word from him as he goes for the title here. Oh, so let's have a word. Jason, the start went well last time. Can you do it again this time?
Hi, Ben. I mean, that's the plan. Is the start at brands, certainly from pole, is key, and it certainly was the main contributing factor to race 1 for me. So yeah, that's what I'm focusing on now.
We'll let you focus. Have a good race, Jason, and we'll see what happens as the rest of this continues. The sun glinting through the car there. Let's take a look at the standings then. He's on 242 points, ahead of Matt Neal on 217. Gordon Shedden only 2 points further back, but Tom Onslow-Cole is out of the hunt for the main championship win now. Tom Chilton on 5th place, so there's a bit of sort of private battle between the 2 Team Aon guys. Stephen Kane, Matt Jackson there. They're both in the independence battle as well. Rob Collard, Paul O'Neill and Alex McDowell complete the top 10. And this is how they line up on the grid for this race. It is, of course, Jason Plato on pole position, carrying maximum ballast, but it didn't seem to slow him down in the first race. Gordon Shedden alongside then Matt Neal. Alex McDowell again 4th on the grid as he was for race 1, but Rob Collard moved up in that first race, as did Paul O'Neill, so he starts in 6th place. 7th on the grid is Tom Chilton, ahead of James Nash, Andrew Jordan and Tom Boardman. Then Stephen Kane and Andy Neate. Back on row 7, we've got Matt Jackson, who had a spin in the first race, and he's got his one-off teammate, Ben Collins, alongside him on row 7. Lee Wood is behind, and James Kay. Then Sam Tordoff and Martin Johnson. I think Martin isn't going to make it out. He's had an engine problem. John George and Arthur Forster on row 10. Then it's Sean Hollenby, Tom Onslow-Cole, who had it was a broken input shaft, I gather, in the gearbox that caused him to retire from the last race. Martin Depper brings up the rear. So here we go, Jason leading them round. Tim, you wrapped up the Porsche Championship yesterday, so you've been able to relax a little bit, but you know exactly what Jason's going through here.
Yeah, however calm and collected he may sound, trust me, it's like a duck on water. The emotions going on underneath the surface are at full tilt, and if you could put a heart rate monitor on him, they'd be off the scale, definitely.
Can he do it then? For the 5th year in a row, he goes into this final event, the final meeting of the year, with a chance. His wife and his mother, they're watching in the pits. So for the 5th year in a row, have this chance This one is the biggest chance he's had in those 5 years, though.
Yeah, he knows he's in a very strong position here. His best, you know, the most comfortable position. He's got the fastest car. It doesn't matter about success ballast. He's got the fastest car. He knows that he can win. He's done it with the first race, and this is his chance. And Jason, I'm sure, will grab it. But if he doesn't, and those Hondas get in front of him, is that one Honda coming down the pit lane? Just
somebody in the pit lane. No, it's not one of the Hondas, is it? Or is it?
It is. It is one of the Hondas.
Oh, right. It could be Shedden. It's Gordon Shedden. So
well,
we
that
have
now
drama.
becomes 2 against 1 with 2 Chevrolets and 1 Honda up the front. Shedden out.
What has happened to Gordon Shedden? His chance for the championship is over. We have only 2 now who can win this title, surely. It's Jason Plato or Matt Neal. There's a gap on the front row where Gordon Shedden should be, and that is not the way that we would have wanted to see that, but something's gone wrong for Gordon Shedden. He is out of the competition. We don't know yet what's wrong. We'll find out soon enough, but this race is about to get underway. The penultimate race of the 2010 British Touring Car Championship. No Gordon Shedden on the front row. Jason Plato has a clear run into the first corner at Paddock Hill Bend, but Matt Neal behind needs the start of his race career if he's to keep his championship hopes alive. Lights out, here we go then, and it's a great start by Plato and by McDowell. The other Chevrolet's going to get in front of Matt Neal, and Rob Collard follows Matt Neal in towards Paddock Hill Bend with Paul O'Neill going round the outside, but that is again a perfect start for Jason Plato. He could well be on for his 2nd championship title if he holds it together. Now McDowell and Neal tangle at the hairpin. McDowell saves it, but Neal goes, no, he doesn't. He's off on the grass.
Oh, so unlucky, but Matt Neal really had no choice but to force the issue after his 2nd bad start of the day, out-dragged by both the Chevrolets into Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, Jason Plato has made the break again as he did in race 1, and Matt Neal was determined to get through into 2nd place. Well, he's got into 2nd, but he's still chased by Collard. O'Neill's going well. So is Chilton and off. We've got one of the forced to be as well as James Kay off as well in the grey Integra. And yeah, it was Arthur Forster who tangled with him up in Clearways. Will that bring a safety car out?
Well, almost certainly it will, because James Kay's car's stuck there in a bad position, and I think with broken front suspension, it may take a while to change it, to clear it as well, and this could be a little bit of the lifeline that Neal needs, but at the moment he's under massive pressure from Collard.
Yeah, great battling going on behind them as well. Safety car is coming out. This will close them up again. Just what Jason Plato doesn't want, exactly what Matt Neal needs.
Yeah, he's lost his wingman in Alex McDowell, who would, got into 2nd place, so that was a perfect start for Plato with his teammate behind. With his teammate's out of it, he's now got a safety car which is going to close Matt Neal up onto the back of him, although clearly Neal doesn't have the initial pace of Plato, but certainly it's going to ramp up the anxiety in Jason's mind at the moment.
Yeah, that really is going to put the pressure back on. We gather that it's a broken drive shaft on Gordon Shedden's car. Would you believe it? The drive shaft has broken just when he needed it at its most. Let's see what happened at the start then. A good getaway by Plato, and again Matt Neal didn't really get it off the line.
No, Matt Neal got wheel spin again. Alex McDowell gets cleanly across. In fact, Collard actually gives Matt a little push to aid him into Paddock, and then Matt gets a good run through Paddock, and if we run this up to Clearways, he just noses up the inside of McDowell and eases him wide.
Yeah. So that was Jason played at the air. That's where you just see McDowell coming back into view out on the grass. He did recover from that. He's currently down in 16th place, though, having lost all those places. This was on board Matt Neal. Again, as you say, bit of wheel spin, and then you'll see that Chevy. There he is on the outside.
Yeah, he's just gone cleanly past him, and I think Matt, if Alex McDowell had been a bit more protective, let's see if we can follow on board here. Does he really close off the inside? Not really. He's left the gap enough there for Matt to stick the inside up. He should have covered that inside really tightly.
Yeah. Matt was always going to go for a little gap like that, wasn't he? So no chance really for McDowell to get back into it. This is what happened between Kay and Forster. Well, we couldn't really see the start of that, and it could easily have been somebody else tacking the back of James Kay, because they were all coming in very bunched there, so hard to determine what happened.
Yeah, full marks to the cameraman. He didn't dive for cover, did he?
No, great job. So safety car is on the track, but it's going to be coming in at the end of the lap, so not a long interruption, but Jason Plato now has his great rival former double champion Matt Neal behind him. Rob Collard is there as well, though, and Collard's just chasing race victories here. Any opportunity he has to snatch an advantage, he'll take it. Paul O'Neill is in 4th, Tom Chilton is 5th. Andrew Jordan had a good start there because he's running in 6th ahead of James Nash in the background in the Pertec car. Then you've got the black Vauxhall of Nash, then Boardman running in 8th, Matt Jackson is in 9th, Stephen Kane is in 10th, and then you've got Onslow Cole in 11th, having come up from the back of the grid. Gordon Shedden, is he going to be pushed back on to the... yeah, he's going to come back into the race by the looks of things.
Well, full marks of dynamics team. That's the fastest drive shaft change I've seen. And talking of fast, look at the restart that Plato's got.
Yeah, he's just launched himself out ahead as the track goes green once again. We're racing, and Matt Neal, no chance of staying with the Chevrolet there by the looks of it, because Jason Plato's already opened up a good half a second gap as they head around the hairpin. Matt Neal in 2nd place, Collard in 3rd, then Paul O'Neill behind him. He's chased by Tom Chilton. The rest of them have come through paddock and drew it in one piece. Plato runs it over the grass on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, but no problems there. And some battles further back going on. There you can see the BMW trying to get past as Stephen Kane battling with Tom Onslow Cole. In fact, I think Onslow Cole's just gained a place. They might have moved into the top 10 now. Yeah,
he has. He's moved positions. We didn't see it, but he's certainly moved up. And Kane fighting back straight away. But Matt Neal is losing out to Plato. Plato sets the fastest lap of the race and increases the gap to nearly a second.
Yeah, and that's a crucial fastest lap for him. Another point for his championship. Matt Neal chasing in 2nd place. Then it's Rob Collard in 3rd. Paul O'Neill, an excellent 4th in the trusty Honda Integra. He's had a couple of podiums this year, as we know, but he's well up again this time. Then Tom Chilton, and as I mentioned, Tom Onslow Cole has moved into 10th place, but if he's going to move any further, he's going to have to try and catch up with Matt Jackson, who's looking back from the Chevy here. Straight back at Matt Neal in 2nd place and Rob Collard in 3rd. And it does seem as though Plato has control of this race at the moment. Remember, he did have that scare in the first race where the mechanics rushed out with a set of tyres. Thankfully, that didn't prove to be something serious, and he was able to continue on round.
Yeah, a lot of scrapping going on between Matt Jackson and Tom Boardman for 8th place.
Yeah, that's further down the order. Tom Boardman running well in the Seat at the moment. The normally aspirated engine he's using in that car, the standard petrol engine, but it's a good handling little car, the Seat, and it's still showing it's a force to be reckoned with. In 8th place, as you say, Matt Jackson is behind him as the leaders go through Graham Hill Bend. Rob Collard beginning to look a little bit more aggressive now on the back of Matt Neal. These guys have had their moments in the past here at Brands Hatch, amongst other places, so we'll see what happens there. John George in the background trying to make a move on McDowell. These two are fighting for 16th place, and John George gets past the Chevy. That's a good move, but McDowell might get him back on the inside into clearways. Wow, this is great, and it's all for 16th place.
Well, that was brave of John George. Who can forget that huge accident he had at Stirling's a couple of years ago, and it doesn't hold any fear for him now, does it?
No, it's good to see, isn't it? And John really enjoying himself down at the back end of the field. Sean Hollenby behind him, then Arthur Forster recovering from that earlier spin. But up front, it's Plato in the blue Chevrolet. There's Matt Neal in the number 4 Honda, still setting in 2nd place, but he can't seem to close that gap. 0.6 of a second, although Matt Neal was pretty quick on that lap. He was a fraction faster than the Chevy up ahead, but Collard is right on his bumper, and he's virtually as quick as well. Through clearways they come then, and you can see that Chevy handling beautifully. How will it change as the tyres wear a little bit higher temperatures now, Tim, than we had earlier today?
Yeah, it's only going to hurt the front-wheel drive cars, but it should probably hurt the Chevy and the Honda equally. I don't really think there's any difference between those two cars in how well they work their tyres, but it certainly could help Collard.
Yeah, and he's the one you're looking at right now as he shadows every move that Matt Neal makes. But is there any way of getting past him? In the background, you can see Paul O'Neill still running in the Honda Integra. Behind O'Neill, it's still Tom Chilton, then Andrew Jordan, then James Nash, Tom Boardman, Matt Jackson, Tom Onslow Cole still in 10th. Stephen Kane is in 11th, Andy Neat running 12th, and Ben Collins is in 12th position. Back with this 2nd and 3rd place battle as they come up towards clearways. Plato not extending that lead by any margin really, just sort of holding it constant. We'll keep an eye on the gap. It was 0.8 of a second when they came over the stripe last time. Let's just see what it is this time. The Silverline Chevrolet crossed the line. It's still 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, they're matching each other lap for lap at the moment, and that's a comfortable margin for Jason at the moment without taking any undue risks or pushing any harder.
Yeah, looking after the car. You've only got to win the race. You don't have to set fastest lap on every time. Tim Plater right at the back of the garage trying to... oh, and Oscar McDowell. McDowell's gone off with Lee Wood into the Paddock Hill gravel trap. Looks as though they both recovered there. Bit of a scary moment. They could have thought that was Jason, a blue car.
Yeah,
off.
they saw the car, they saw the Chevy, and immediately wife Sophie there thought it was Jason, but no, rest assured, don't watch Sophie.
I don't know, is it better to watch or not to watch? Jason's still in front, he's still leading as they come around. The laps here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit tick away, smoke pouring off McDowell's car though. That's not good news at all, is it? I wonder if he's going to have to, I think he's surely going to have to come back in the pits.
Yeah, I think he was attacking Lee Wood, wasn't he? He's pulled off now, and he was attacking Lee Wood, and obviously some contact at Paddock Hill Bend.
So that's not going to affect the leaders, and Plato is on his own now as the only Chevy in the race, but he's where he needs to be, leading this one. 9/10 of a second, his gap over Matt Neal. He extended it slightly. Let's take a look back at the McDowell-Lee Wood incident, see if we catch it earlier on.
Yeah, there was contact at the top of Paddock Hill Bend, well, we didn't see the start of it to see the lines, but certainly contact between the two cars.
Tom Onslow Cole's just gone off onto the grass as well. I've just seen, just rejoining at Graham Hill Bend as we just take another look at the replay of that. There is Tom Onslow Cole. He's going a bit slower, although he's back up to speed now. I think it was a mistake on his part. I just saw him run onto the grass a moment ago, but he is back in it. But he had already dropped some places, Onslow Cole, and he's dropped even more. So he's well outside the top 10 now. Tom Chilton still running in 5th place ahead of Andrew Jordan. But Plato just ticking those laps off one by one. On lap 12 out of 26, almost half distance. Is he on his way here? There's not a lot that Matt Neal seems to be able to do about closing that gap, Tim.
No, I hate to say it, but it's got the look of Jason Plato cruising to his second British Touring Car title, because there's nothing Matt can do at the moment.
The other thing that he could be heading for is to match that amazing record of Andy Rouse's 60 British Touring Car wins, and if he wins this race, he will match that record.
Yeah, then he's got the chance of beating it in the last race, having wrapped up the championship. And don't count him out. Don't forget, we saw him drive from the back of the grid at Donington up to the podium, so don't count him out.
That's a good point. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the reverse grid throws up, of course, how many places back, but that's all in the future. Let's wait and see, because anything can still happen. We're only halfway through this second race, but Plato is in control, as he has been all throughout the weekend so far. A dominant display in qualifying, a brilliant drive in race 1 from the start to take a comfortable victory, and so far so good in race 2. But Matt Neal still in 2nd place, Rob Collard in 3rd. They've opened up a little bit more of a gap over Paul O'Neill in 4th place, then Tom Chilton in the Ford in 5th position. That Ford was very fast on the Grand Prix track here earlier this year, if you remember. Tom Chilton winning for Ford for the first time in many years, but they haven't quite got that pace on the shorter Indy circuit.
No, well, with the long straights and the uphills of the Grand Prix circuit, the Ford was really able to use its power advantage. And don't forget, oh, Collard's gone wide! Collard's gone wide! Just kept it going, and probably without too much damage as well. He hasn't taken the splitter off, so he's going to have dirty tyres. He's going to be slow for a couple of corners. Paul O'Neill will be sniffing blood there.
Yeah, but is he close enough? I'm not sure he is he?
Not at the moment, but it will take a couple of corners for Collard just to clean those tyres up. But here we get a replay. Looking back from... oh, he just has a twitch at the top of the hill. That puts the car wide as he has to correct, and, well, he did well to hold that.
Yeah, he did, to keep it from going right into the gravel trap up to the tyre barrier. We've seen it many times in the past, but Collard holds on to 3rd place. It does drop him back, of course, from Matt Neal. Matt Neal could just focus on the task of closing on the race leader. 49.4 from both the front guys there on that last lap. And this is where the points are. This is how they stand and where they would be. Jason Plater would be on 2.58, Matt Neal would be on 2.29, and that would certainly mean Jason is champion if it stays that way. Gordon Shedden not looking to score anything in this race, so he would drop back. He'd still be in 3rd, but Tom Onslow Cole also not likely to score. He's actually in the pits at the moment, Onslow Cole, so it's really going horribly for him.
Yeah, it's all gone wrong for Tom Onslow Cole in this meeting with 2 retirements, but he was a long shot. But then Gordon Shedden going out as well with a drive shaft, and only Matt Neal left with a faint chance of doing anything about Jason Plato.
His rivals are falling by the wayside at the moment. Jason Plato is comfortably out in front, but the others are all having problems. We saw Shedden in trouble earlier, now it's Onslow Cole. He was out of the battle anyway. It's only Matt Neal, as you say, remains. Here comes Stephen Kane on James Nash. These two having a real ding-dong battle, actually. They passed each other on the last lap as well, and Kane and Nash are fighting for 7th place. So good little dice going on between those two, as we just see that Plato is still leading comfortably. Collard, having recovered from that earlier little mishap at paddock, has got it together now. There, further back, you've got the Airwaves BMW behind Andrew Jordan, and then the Black Vauxhall of James Nash. They've swapped a couple of times over the last lap, but it is Stephen Kane who's into 7th place, still trying for the Independence title. And interestingly, he's only a couple of places now behind Tom Chilton, and he's one of his big rivals for that Independence title, especially with Tom Onslow Cole looking at perhaps not scoring in this race. That's going to open the Independence title right up.
Yeah, very much so. And also give a shout out to Ben Collins, doing a really good job in this race. He's the third of he's in 11th place at the moment, and only just a couple of seconds behind Matt Jackson and Stephen Kane.
That's good news, because he had so little running. Just coming through there is Ben Collins. Just had a quick glimpse of him. He's in the Airwaves car. It's got the sort of pink windscreen surround. A teammate there, Stephen Kane, having a good old go at getting past Andrew Jordan. This is looking very close indeed. And Stephen Kane throwing everything he can now at Andrew Jordan in the battle for 6th place. You've got James Nash behind, then Matt Jackson at the back of that group in the second of the 3 Airwaves cars that are racing this weekend. But Andrew Jordan is fighting hard to keep them all behind. I spoke to Andrew earlier, struggling with a bit of understeer today, and as the tyres get hotter, that's only going to get worse. Yeah, the BMW is going to come into their own, and I think the vector of Andrew Jordan, and we saw James Nash in the first race, both struggling with front tyre issues as the race went on. Yeah, definitely, and don't forget the Jordan car has that turbocharged engine, and Stephen Kane's going to have a little look up the inside into the hairpin, into Druitt, and there's nothing Andrew Jordan could do about that. Stephen Kane moves into 6th place, and Jordan's coming under more pressure now as well from James Nash behind.
Yeah, good move by Stephen Kane, no contact at all, just used his superior grip through Paddock Hill to get a run up the hill into Druids, and Andrew Jordan didn't defend it.
So Kane chases after Tom Chilton now, and that is fairly crucial for points in the Independence drivers' battle. But across the line once again comes Jason Plato. So he's completed 18 laps. He's on to lap 19 out of 26. The gap, 1.3 seconds. It's looking very, very good for Jason Plato.
Yeah, Jason really is. He's got this in his hands. The control is in his own hands. The destiny of the championship. He's marching forwards towards it, and I just can't see anything stopping him from taking his 2nd crown.
Well, let's wait and see. He certainly looks comfortable at the moment, but gremlins can strike any time, and that's what everybody in the pit garage knows as well, as they watch nervously and wait to see what happens here. On board with Plato, he is really, really working hard on the concentration, on the focus, making sure, looking down at the gauges, making sure that the engine's running at a right temperature. He is so aware at this moment of every little feeling the car is giving him. He's aware of every blade of grass virtually as he drives around. He's in that heightened state of concentration, of adrenaline flowing, as he knows that the championship is almost within grasp now. He's just got to finish the last part of this race and keep it as clean as he has throughout the weekend so far. It is looking mighty good for Plato. Let's look back. Ben Collins in a battle here with Andy Neate. Andy Neate just behind Collins, and ahead of him is Tom Boorman. So Collins now much more up to speed with this car that he's done hardly any laps in throughout practice, and has really been learning it in the races. So now he's got a chance perhaps of putting Tom Boorman in the black Seat under a little more pressure as they come up through Surtees and into Clearways. But he's also beginning to run out of laps because they're ticking away now. 20 laps completed by the race leader, or on to lap 21 out of 26. And around this 1.2 mile circuit, they're getting around in 49 seconds, a blink of an eye virtually. And Collins now having a little look. Is he going to go to the inside here? No. Tom Boorman covers that inside line quite effectively into Paddock Hill Bend. A bit of a slide there from Ben Collins, and in fact he's got to watch out because Andy Neate's having a little look, and Ben Collins has to go tight, and it gives a little bit of bump, a little bit of a nudge there to the back of the Seat in his attempts to make it through. Meanwhile, also a little bit of racing going on between James Nash in the Black Vauxhall in 8th place. Matt Jackson tucked in behind him in 9th position, and Jackson trying to fight his way through. Had a spin here earlier today in race 1 when he jumped over the curb, and he wants to make amends for that. Get into the top 10, maybe a little further. Could be on the front row on the reverse grid race. Race 3 today. And Andy Neat's got a bit of a rub on Ben Collins here. Ben Collins held it beautifully, but that's given Andy Neat a chance to get up the inside. So it's the WSR BMW now, squeezing past the Airways car, but they're going to go side by side into Bannockhill Bend. And the driver formerly known as the Stig is passed by Andy Neat, who just squeezes through on the inside. Oh, and that's Sam Tordoff trying to join in, the new boy, making his debut this weekend in touring cars, and he's trying to go all the way around the outside of Collins. The youngster is giving as good as he gets, bashes him back, gets down the inside, and the 21-year-old is through and enjoying his baptism in British touring cars. Ben Collins struggling there a little bit, but remember, he's done so few laps in this car. I've no idea whether it's where it should be from his point of view in terms of handling, so he's having to work very hard indeed. Back with the race leader, Jason Plato, 1.1 seconds ahead of Matt Neal. These are tense moments indeed. Sophie really looking nervous, and Jason's mum, Linda the Laird, also looking very, very anxious, but we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Jason Plato just has 3 laps to complete to take his 2nd British Touring Car Championship. Now then, the focus, it is such a different day, such a contrast to when he won his first title back in 2001. On that day, the heavens opened, and Jason was in a mighty battle with Ivan Muller, and Jason went off. He spun the car at Surtees. It looked as though it was all over, and he came back. Ivan Muller in trouble with a car that caught fire, and Jason was able to win that title. Today, it is a very different story. The sun is shining. We've got a massive crowd here at Brands Hatch, and he's now just got a couple of laps to complete the story. Matt Neal not far behind all the time, keeping that pressure on is Matt Neal. He's had 2 titles of his own, of course, those back-to-back titles of 2005 and 2006. He knows what it's all about, but he has not been able to close the gap on the Chevrolet. That Silverline Chevy just has had the edge here at Brands all weekend, in qualifying and in the races. And don't forget, all with the extra ballast on board, 45 kilos. It has not hampered Jason Plato one little bit. Across the line he comes again. 1 more lap completed. That's 24 laps in the book. We're on lap 25. Behind, there's still some good racing going on as Andrew Jordan and Matt Jackson fight hard for 7th position. James Nash tucked in behind them. Andy Neat in the top 10 now as a result of that little race he was having with Ben Collins. He'll be pleased about that, because that puts him into the points for this one, and it's been an up and down season for Andy Neat, so he'll be very, very pleased with that. But Jason Plato now, a lap and a half to go. He's got to just bring it through. Surtees around clearways, then 1 more lap here. He must be feeling it now. He must be feeling nervous. The car's just got to hold together. He's got enough of a margin. He doesn't have to do anything unusual. Another glance in the mirrors, another look at the instruments. Is this car running okay? The team tell him he's on the last lap. They told him the gap is 1.1 seconds between himself and Matt Neal. He's nearly there now. He's still using the curb. He's still working the car hard. Matt Neal getting a little bit closer, perhaps on this last lap. He has allowed that gap just to close a little bit, but surely he's not going to allow himself to come under much more pressure down through the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. Jason Plato heading to match the record of victories of Andy Rouse. He will win his 60th British Touring Car race here at Brands Hatch. But more important than that, more important than matching Andy Rouse's race win record, is the fact that he is going to be the 2010 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Champion. Jason Plato does it. He wins his 2nd title. Matt Neal finishes in 2nd place, and he achieves his dream. Plato wins, Matt Neal in 2nd, Collard finishes in 3rd, O'Neill is in 4th place, Chilton finishes in 5th, Kane is 6th, Jordan 7th, Jackson finishes in 8th, Nash is 9th, and Andy Neat finishes in 10th position. But Jason Plato, to the delight of his family, to his friends, his supporters, he has achieved it. He has done it. Let's see if we can get a word. Jason, it's been many congratulations. That was a fantastic job.
Ben, thanks very much. Thanks a lot. I mean, yeah, a big shout out to all my supporters. People at home are watching who couldn't make the race. Thanks, your support is it's a big thing and it means a lot. So thanks a lot. Yeah, the race worked perfectly for me. Yeah, pleased, really pleased.
Now you can begin to relax a bit, eh?
Well, you say that, we've got another race to go, and I'm pressure's off, I'm feeling a bit racy now. There's a record to beat now, isn't there?
Absolutely. We'll let you talk to Steve in just a sec. So a record to be broken. So he's just as aware of that 60th race win as he is of winning the championship. So Andy Rouse's tally, can it be beaten in the third race here today? It could be. It'll depend on our reverse grid and how many cars get pushed back. Remember, as many as 10 cars could be reversed on the grid. It'll depend on the draw, and we'll be seeing that very shortly once we get these guys into the Parc Fermé. So the result of the second race here at Brands Hatch sees Jason Plato win the championship in style by winning 2 out of 2 here today. Matt Neal, a valiant second. Rob Collard, third. Paul O'Neill, a strong fourth, ahead of Tom Chilton and Stephen Kane. Andrew Jordan was 7th, ahead of Matt Jackson. James Nash was 9th, and Andy Neate finished 10th. Outside the top 10, Sam Tordoff and Ben Collins. Tom Borman was 13th, ahead of John George, Lee Wood, then Arthur Forster, Sean Hollenby. Poor old Gordon Shedden, who had that broken drive shaft and problems for Tom Onslow Cole as well. Alex McDowell was 20th. And here we are with the points. Plato's done enough. He has won the championship. Still a few private battles to be fought.